Hey there, YouTube. Welcome to Big Mike Beard Wisdom. So today we're going to talk about the sun and different angles. So I went over this a little bit when I talked before about the solar panels. And basically, it's 9 in the morning, the day after Memorial Day. And as you can see from the shadows, the way they hit the house, there's the two trees that cast a little bit of shadow. There's Shadow, who doesn't really cast any shadow. And there's Beta, who's peeing on the shed. But basically, those two trees are casting shadows right over there where I've got the tomatoes. Your tomatoes require a certain amount of sun. And from what I was reading, it seemed like most of them, they need at least an average of 6 hours of full sun. But it looked like 8 hours is what it was preferred. And from kind of what I was reading, it seemed like if you can get more than 8, that's even better. So to kind of gauge how much light I was going to get, I kind of did like a poor man's time lapse. And basically stood in 2 different locations and set the time. That way I had a rough idea as to how much sunlight these two get. And even where these guys are at, there's going to be some discrepancy between the two. Because this one's a little bit farther forward, so it's getting shaded from this upper rail at the moment on those leaves. Whereas this one, it's getting slightly shaded from this rail as the sun runs in the sky. So it's summertime, so it probably starts over here slightly in the northeast, comes up, stays a little bit to the south, goes well right there where the sun's at. So bright. And then comes back down and arcs back northwest. So at about 7 at night and 7 in the morning, this south facing wall is actually hidden from the sunlight and in shadow. But it's one of those things where it definitely seems like the more light that you can get on the tomatoes, the better, especially as it's growing. Now, it seemed like there was some differing information as far as the sunlight once the fruit are there, as to whether or not it helps the fruit grow or whether or not it helps the fruit to ripen. But it definitely seems like tomato plants must need a lot of energy, so they probably need quite a good bit of sun. So either way, I haven't had any fruit or any flowers or blossoms come up yet, so I don't know about the fruit yet. But I'm pretty sure I can definitely see that it needs a lot of light. And both of these are doing pretty good. What I'll do is I'll stand right here and say a time. And then I'll stand right next to the pole and say a time. 6:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. 10:30, 12:30, 1:30 p.m., 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. So, looks like most of the plants still getting pretty much full sun. A little bit back here is getting shaded, but not too much. 7 o'clock, 6:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 10:30, 12:30, 1:30 p.m., 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 7 o'clock. identifying how much sun it gets will kind of help you kind of figure out if you're getting enough. And then especially as the year goes by, right now we're at the beginning of June. The solstice is about June 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there. So we're pretty close to like the final traveling of the sun arc. And then it should be fairly consistent, probably from, well, now from the beginning of June to about the end of July. And that's about when I would start to expect this to be pretty close to harvest time. These look like they're roughly about, I would say about 13 inches from the edge of the bucket, which is a pretty good change from where it was last time I baselined it. And I'll add that date in once I edit the video. And then this one looks like it's about, I would say about 15 inches, maybe 14.5 inches tall. Which, that one was taller than that one was anyways. So, looks like we had some pretty good growth. They're definitely getting plenty of sun and still getting plenty of water. And the tomatoes are kind of getting tall enough now that I'm going to tie them up using this sturdy stretch tie. So this is something else that I bought from Lowe's whenever I got the poles to put in there. And basically it looks like just almost like a green tape without the sticky adhesive. And it says that it grows and expands with the growth of the plant, and it's strong and durable. And basically what I was reading was that a lot of people said that like as like the time went on and they had like a strong wind or something like that, it blew their tomato plant over, and I guess it can damage the stem. And I don't know if it kills the plant right away, but I figure with as tall as those guys are getting and as leafy as they're getting, they may catch some wind. So I'll go ahead and throw a couple ties in real quick. Alright, so I got just 2 ties. I figured it's probably about a foot up. And the big thing that I noticed was that it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to try and tie. So if you leave yourself not a whole lot to try and wrap around, that really wide width of it can be kind of strange as you're trying to work it into different knots. So what I would recommend is probably leaving yourself a little bit of a gap in between what you're tying it to. It is very stretchy, so as you tighten this, it'll stretch out a little bit too. But like I try to leave this kind of open, that way there's enough room, that way it's not directly pushing against that rod in order to like get it to expand. But I think we should be pretty safe from the wind. And by leaving a little bit extra tails on this one, all I have to do is just come in and clip it. So now those tails are shorter, kind of like this one, but I didn't have as big of a endeavor trying to get these wrapped up. So it's way easier to have too much of that tie stuff and then just trim her down when you get it set, than to have not enough of it and to be really trying to work that into a shape in order to tie your knots. But then again, I'm not that great of a knot tire. So hopefully those will hold. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna blow the plant down anytime soon, especially with as high as I tied it up there. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll check you next time. 3:30. Lost the sun. Still see the shadows. 3:30, just in case I missed it.